Hello, good evening everyone. I hope you are doing well. Can you please confirm if I'm audible or not? Is my voice audible to everyone? Please write it in the chat box. Fine, so I think I'm audible to all of you. So let us begin with the session. So, hello everyone, welcome to another insightful session of Perspective 360 degree where we do current affair based answer writing practice in a detailed and structured manner. And if you are an aspirant preparing for exams like RBI, NABARD, IRDAI, etc., then this session is definitely going to help you with answer writing practice for the descriptive paper of phase 2. So let us begin with the discussion. Let us see what is our agenda for today. So today we are going to talk about White Revolution 2.0. Basically, this is an important initiative that has been launched by the government, and it was there in the news. You can see last month only it was very much focused in the different news articles, and that is the reason why we are discussing it as a part of this session. So in this session we are going to talk about what is White Revolution. We are going to understand the different key objectives of White Revolution 2.0, the challenges of the different dairy cooperatives and their solutions. So this is going to be the overall agenda with respect to this session. So if you talk about the syllabus, this topic is very much relevant for the NABARD Grade A syllabus because it targets these subtopics which are agriculture and animal husbandry. So that is the reason why we are discussing the topic as a part of our discussion. Apart from that, if you talk about RBI Grade B syllabus also, so here also you can see Indian agriculture is a part of our syllabus, and somewhere directly and indirectly this topic is a part of it. So that is why we are covering it as a part of this whole session, and I hope the agenda is pretty much clear to you. Now, as we usually discuss this answer writing blueprint, the blueprint that you have to follow while writing your answer in the comment box and also in the examination, where you will write your answer by dividing it into introduction, body and conclusion. And as I always say, that introduction should be around 10 to 12% of the total word limit, and the same rule applies to the conclusion also, and the rest of the word limit should be dedicated to the body part, where you write your body in the form of heading and different subheadings. Under the subheading you are going to write your relevant points that you will try to substantiate using data, facts or examples. Fine. So this is the basic general idea regarding how you have to approach towards your answer, how you have to structure it. Now let us move on to the rest of the details, which is regarding the question for today. So if you are somebody who is new to this Perspective 360 degree initiative, let me tell you that here firstly we give you an expected question regarding a certain topic that is relevant to your exam, and once this expected question is done, you have to write the answer of that question in the comment box, and that answer will be evaluated by our team within 48 hours. So within 48 hours our team is going to evaluate that answer. So today is Wednesday, and if you want your answer to get evaluated, you have to write it before Friday 5 p.m. Fine. So I hope it is pretty much clear to you. Now let us move on to the answer details, which is regarding the White Revolution 2.0. But before discussing directly the White Revolution 2.0, let us talk about something which is very much connected to this White Revolution and is very much connected as far as the dairy cooperative sector in our country is concerned. And that is nothing but a very well known model, a very well known cooperative in India, which is basically the brand Amul. So we are going to understand that how Amul was formed, the different associations with respect to Amul, and this will give you a better idea when I will be discussing the challenges regarding the India's dairy cooperative sector. Fine. So just a brief overview that how Amul was formed. So if we talk about Amul, Amul was found, basically the story starts from 1940s when the dairy farmers in a town called Kaira Kaira, which is located in Gujarat. Now, these dairy farmers in Kaira, now this Kaira is known as Anand, but earlier at that time in 1940s, it was known by the name Kaira. Now, the farmers of this region, Kaira in Gujarat, they were facing, huge exploitation by the traders. What the traders used to do, these traders were nothing but they were middlemen. And what this middlemen they used to do, whenever these dairy farmers, they had to sell their this milk and all this kind of dairy products to the market. In between, these middlemen used to come, and these middlemen used to charge high rate of this commission, and because of this the profitability of the dairy farmers used to get reduced. So this was, I would say, one of the major problems that was faced by the dairy farmers. So the point is that there was some sort of monopoly of this middleman with respect to this dairy business in different parts of the region, and this is just a small example with respect to Kaira, Gujarat. Now what happened as a result of that, because of this, the dairy farmer, they started earning lower income, and also in urban centers the demand of milk has increased. But even if the demand of milk had increased, these dairy farmers were still facing losses, they were still facing low income. So that was the, I would say, the crux regarding the challenge that was faced by the dairy farmers from Gujarat. Now what was happened as a result of that, in the 1946, these farmers in Kaira, they were guided by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and this Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, what he did, he basically formed a cooperative in order to bypass this middleman. And apart from that, what he emphasized, he basically urged the milk sellers to direct sell this milk to the urban centers by bypassing this middleman. So this is something that was emphasized by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Apart from that, there were other key leaders also. For example, Tribhuvan Das Patel, who led this movement, and also Dr. Verghese Koiran, who joined as an advisor. And this Dr. Verghese Koiran is also known as the father of white revolution in India. Mr. Dr. Verghese Koiran, who is also known as the father of white revolution in India. Fine. So this is the story. Then apart from that, as a result of this whole cooperative initiative, as a result of this whole movement, what actually happened at the end, what was the outcome? It led to the formation of Kaira District Cooperative Milk Producers Union Limited, that eventually led to the formation of Amul. So what the different farmers did, they basically came together and they formed a cooperative. Now once this cooperative was formed, what basically happened, their bargaining power got increased. In a more efficient manner, they were able to bypass this middleman, and they were able to control the selling of this milk and the milk products in a more efficient and in a more business friendly manner. So that is the idea regarding the Amul story. Now let us see the basic component of the cooperative structure with respect to Amul. So if you talk about the present structure, which is a bit different from the structure when the Amul was at its initial stage. Earlier it was basically it included the local villagers only, the local dairy farmers only. But later on, what happened, when they started expanding more and more farmers, they started joining this cooperative. And what happened, the different three-tier cooperative structure was formed as a result of this whole Amul model. So if you talk about this Amul model, the three-tier structure, the first is village level cooperative. So the job of this village level cooperative is that they collect the milk from the farmers. So what the farmers have to do, they have to deliver their milk to the local village society, and this village cooperative society, they ensure that farmers are receiving fair and timely payments. Then what this village cooperative society do the next component of the three-tier cooperative is the district level cooperatives, and the job of the district level cooperatives is to process the milk into different type of various products in order to manage the quality and the distribution of the milk. And the third tier is this state level federation, and the job of this, sorry for the small disturbance, wait a second. Yes, so the job of this state level federation is basically to manage the marketing, branding and the distribution under the Amul brand. Fine. So it basically sees at the umbrella level. So this is the three-tier cooperative structure regarding the Amul model. And apart from that, the other components, or I would say the other advantages of this model, of this cooperative structure, is that the farmers are both suppliers as well as the owners. Fine, what happens is that when the farmers they join the cooperatives, then what happens is that they become the supplier. That is the first advantage. But apart from that, when they join the cooperatives, they also become the owner, because when they join the cooperative, they actually become the member of that cooperative, and since they become the member, they are also involved in the decision making and also sort of things. So that is why the farmers, they get the ownership, they get the profit sharing, they become both suppliers as well as the owners. The next is regarding market access and collective bargaining. As I told you that the middleman, they were eliminated, they were bypassed as a part of this model, and because of this, the bargaining power, the collective bargaining power of the farmers, it got increased. Fine. And the last is, since that this model eventually grew bigger and more farmers started becoming a part of it, it started gathering more and more funds, and because of it, the model was able to invest in the different form of technologies so that they can procure the milk in an efficient manner and can also standardize the quality of the milk. Fine. So this is something that is I would say the key components with respect to the cooperative structure regarding the Amul model. Now if the structure is clear to you, now let us talk about the white revolution and the challenges with respect to that, because it will make you understand in an easier manner. So firstly, let us talk about the introduction to this question. So what was the question? Let me show you the question first. So the question was basically, discuss the key objectives of white revolution, highlighting challenges and structure of the future growth. So firstly, basically we are going to shed some light regarding the India's dairy structure. So India's dairy structure, the world's largest, produces over 210 tons of milk annually, contributing nearly 4% to national GDP. Fine. So this is basically the data regarding the India dairy structure. Next, what we can write basically about the white revolution. Fine. So basically this white revolution 2.0, I would say it is the upgraded version of the previous white revolution. Fine. So thing is basically that when we talk about white revolution, it refers to the successful operation of the Operation Flood program of the government. And what is this Operation Flood related to? Basically it is a dairy development program that was launched in the 1970s. And why it was launched? So that India can become a self-dependent nation in terms of milk production. Fine. And that is why this Operation Flood was formed, and this white revolution basically connotes the spirit of this Operation Flood. Fine. And now when we talk about this white revolution 2.0, basically it is an upgraded version of white revolution which seeks to further boost productivity and quality, and it also focuses on the modern technology, quality standards, all such sort of things. Fine. So this is basically I would say, you can say the differentiating factor between the original white revolution and the today's white revolution. If we talk about original white revolution, it basically emphasized mainly on the cooperative level. Fine. And mainly at the cooperative level, that how the milk can be procured at an efficient rate. But when you talk about the white revolution 2.0, it basically expands the approach. It talks about productivity also, it talks about modern technology also, innovation also, it talks about the exports also with respect to this milk production. So that is basically you can write as a part of your introduction. Fine. Now let us move on to the second part of the answer, which is basically the key objectives of white revolution 2.0. When we talk about the key objectives of the white revolution 2.0, the first objective is increase the milk procurement by the dairy cooperatives. Now we all know that the population, now if you talk about the population of our country in the early 1970s, fine, in the early 1970s when the white revolution 1.0 happened, at that time we know that population was not very much large, the income of the people was not very much high. But if we compare it to today's scenario, we know that the population has increased. Fine, the population has increased. Because of this, what happened? The demand of the milk has also increased. And since the demand of the milk has also increased, we can see that this whole milk sector, it offers a great opportunity for the farmers to increase their income. So in order to do that, what is the first objective of this white revolution? To increase the milk procurement. Fine. So that these dairy cooperatives, they can increase the milk procurement in a more efficient manner, so that more and more demand that is there, that can be fulfilled and the income of the farmers can be increased. So the goal is to raise milk procurement by 50% over the next 5 years, targeting a procurement level of 1,000 lakh kilograms of milk per day by 2029. So you can see that this is a new target. This is a huge target that has been targeted as a part of this white revolution 2.0. After that, we have to strengthen the women farmer also. We all know that women are the backbone of India's rural economy. And if you talk about the data says that around 70% of India's dairy sector, around 70% of India's dairy sector, it includes what? It consists of women only. So you can see the contribution of women as a part of a dairy sector. For the dairy sector, the contribution of women is very high. So it becomes very evident, it becomes very important that White Revolution 2.0 must contain specific provision with respect to strengthening the women farmer. And what does this White Revolution 2.0 says with respect to that? Is basically says that it focuses on empowering women revolution in rural areas by providing them the employment opportunities, and to also address the malnutrition. We all know that even if the women constitute around 70% of the India's dairy sector, still they face different type of challenges. The challenges regarding for example the employment, fine, the challenges regarding the training, lack of training that is there, the challenges regarding the lack of resources, and all these things what lead to, they also impact the challenge regarding the financial independence of the women. Fine, all these things. So what does the government want to do? Government want to promote White Revolution 2.0 in such a manner that it can create more and more employment opportunities for women, and apart from that it can focus on the financial independence and the training part of the women also, because they contribute around 70% of the India dairy sector. The third is strengthening dairy infrastructure. Now regarding the strengthening dairy infrastructure, basically the White Revolution 2.0, it integrates this central sector scheme. It integrates this White Revolution 2.0 with the central sector scheme, which is the National Program for Dairy Development 2.0. Now when we talk about National Program for Dairy Development, the National Program for Dairy Development, basically it is a central sector scheme. Fine. And what is the aim of this scheme? The aim of this scheme is to improve the dairy infrastructure, and apart from that it also aims to improve the quality of milk services. And how it is able to do so? It is able to do so with the help of the financial assistance that this central sector scheme provides, which is NPDT. Fine. So through this financial assistance, it provides this financial assistance to the dairy cooperatives, so that these dairy cooperatives, what they can do with this money, eventually with this money they can invest in the dairy infrastructure. Fine. So in this way it promotes the development of more and more dairy infrastructure in our country. Now this was NPDD 1.0, which was the first version of this NPDD. Now but when we talk about NPDD 2, basically it is the upgraded version of this NPDD 1.0. This NPDD 2.0, basically it includes this financial assistance criteria, this objectives with respect to NPDD 1.0. Apart from that, it also focuses on the additional things, for example increase in the exports, increase in the technology and innovation. Fine. So this is something that is also added as a part of this NPDD, so that we can focus on all these parameters. Fine. So I hope it is clear to you that how White Revolution 2.0, how it has been integrated with this NPDD 2.0. Fine. So as I told you that it offers the financial assistance. It offers a financial assistance for establishing village level milk procurement system and milk chilling facilities, so that the dairy infrastructure can be improved. The next point is regarding boosting the dairy exports. As I told you, this is a very important or fundamental objective of White Revolution 2.0, because we want to become the global leaders. We are already a big leader, we are already a global leader, but we want to expand our approach. And how we can do that? By supporting the indigenous production of testing equipment and bulk milk collection system, so that the testing equipment can be improved, the collection system can be improved, and eventually it is going to help in strengthening the infrastructure that is required to increase the dairy exports. Fine. The last point is regarding the financial inclusion. Now regarding the financial inclusion, this is also a very good point. So basically this point says that as a part of the cooperative among cooperatives initiative. So this is an initiative that was piloted by the Gujarat. Fine. Now from the Gujarat, this has been adopted at the central government level. And what does this, under this initiative, what do we do? What do we promote? Basically under this cooperative among cooperatives initiative, this program provides dairy farmers with interest-free cash credit via Rupee Kisan credit card. So what is going to happen? The dairy cooperative, what they are going to do, suppose it is a dairy cooperative, so whoever the farmers are that are who are the members of this dairy cooperatives, so the farmers who are the members of the dairy cooperatives, what they can do, these dairy cooperatives can provide the Kisan credit card, Rupee linked Kisan credit card to these dairy farmers, to the members who are the dairy farmers, and with this money what they can do, they can invest this money and use them to expand their business. Fine. And the thing is that the loan that is provided through this Kisan credit card, Rupee linked Kisan credit card under this cooperation or cooperative, this loan is interest free. Fine. So this is a huge benefit, a huge relief that has been given to the dairy farmers. Apart from that, it also distribute the micro ATM. So basically, what are micro ATMs? You must have heard about micro ATMs. So it is a small machine. Basically, if you talk about those parts of our nation, the hinterlands, the rural areas where the bank branches are not usually present. Fine. So in these cases, what the banks can do, they can appoint the different kinds of banking correspondents, the different kind of stakeholders who can have this small machine called micro ATMs. And what you can do, you can go to this banking correspondent and you can ask this banking correspondent that so and so are my details and so money I want to withdraw. So they are going to enter your details and then they are going to give you money. Fine. So this is what the job of micro ATM is, and usually they are promoted by the banking correspondent. But in this case, when we talk about this white revolution 2.0, this basically says that the micro ATMs will be distributed by the dairy cooperatives, so that the dairy farmers they can come in contact with these dairy cooperatives. They can avail the benefit of the micro ATMs that can eventually provide the banking services to them. So you can see that with the help of these cooperatives, what we are able to do, we are able to attain this spirit of financial inclusion also. Fine. I hope it is clear to you. Now the next is regarding the challenges. What are the challenges regarding the India's dairy cooperative sector? So the first challenge is regarding the financing. Now regarding the financing, the challenge is that if you talk about the private firms, fine, if you talk about the private firms, we know that private firms, they basically, or I would say primarily, rely on the equity capital. They rely on the equity capital. But when we talk about these cooperatives, fine, if we talk about these cooperatives are dependent primarily on the member contributions or the loans. Fine. This is the main, I would say, the funding sources or the availability of finance sources with respect to the cooperatives. And what does it lead to? Since they are heavily dependent on the member contributions or the loans, because of this, what happens? This makes them under-resourced. This makes them under-resourced for the expansion. Fine. And this is a major issue with respect to financing, because this dairy cooperative, they are not using a lot of money in the form of investments. They are basically over relying on the member contribution or in the form of loans, which basically makes them face the significant financial constraints. Fine. So this is the first point regarding the financing. The second point is regarding hurdles in establishing a milk grid. Let me raise the ink. So basically, what is a milk grid? If you talk about the developed countries, if you talk about the model of developed countries, now in the developed countries, the thing is that they have a centralized milk grid. Now what is milk grid? Basically, it is a type of, I would say, a chain, and in this chain, what happens? In this chain, different type of things happen in a seamless manner. For example, the milk collection is going to happen. Fine. The milk collection is going to happen. The milk chilling is going to happen. Then the processing of milk. Then also you can say the distribution of milk or the marketing of the milk. So everything happens in a centralized grid-based system. So in one area the collection is going to happen, then they are going to, in a seamless manner, they are going to transport it to a facility where the chilling can happen. Then the third facility where the processing can happen. After it, a team or the stakeholders who are doing the distribution task. This is what the milk grid is, which basically it makes the process more seamless and well connected with the help of infrastructure. But the thing is that what is the problem with respect to India? Why we are not able to establish this centralized milk grid system in an efficient manner? Because most of the dairy farmers that are there in India, they are basically smallholders. Fine. If you talk about the data, according to NDDB data, 96% of the dairy farmers in India are smallholders, each owning fewer than five animals. And because of this, what happens, because of a farmer he is producing less amount of milk, less quantity of milk. So suppose he wants to transport his milk from the milk collection facility to the chilling, or let us say the processing facility. He will have to transport this milk. Now the cost that he is going to take in order to transport this milk from one facility to another is going to be high. Fine. Why? Because the dairy farmer, he is a small holder, and that is something I would say a challenge with respect to that. Apart from that, another factor that is associated with respect to a challenge is the difficult terrain. Fine. If you talk about a difficult terrain also makes it a bit difficult to establish a cohesive milk grid infrastructure, and also sort of chains, which basically increases the inefficiency and the economy with respect to this whole dairy farming. Fine. This dairy cooperatives. So that is another challenge with respect to the dairy cooperatives. I hope it is clear to you that why India has been facing challenges with respect to establishment of the milk grid. The third is the challenges of the dairy farmers. The dairy farmers are different challenges. For example, the low milk prices, the high feed cost, the unstable market, limited access to essential services such as the veterinary care, milk equipment, cow dung management, effective record keeping. These are the different type of challenges that are faced by the dairy farmers, which eventually increase the uncertainty with respect to the working of the dairy cooperatives. The last is regarding the consumer preferences. Fine. So challenge with respect to consumer preference and the market dynamics is that the dairy cooperatives, they are under pressure to diversify and modernize their offerings. Why they are under this pressure in order to diversify, in order to modernize their offerings? The reason being that if you talk about the overall this dairy consumer demand, and very specifically if we particularly talk about the urban areas, in the urban areas what is happening? In the urban areas, the demand is shifting from raw milk to the value added dairy products. What kind of value added dairy products? For example, the cheese, yogurt, the flavored milk, all such sort of things. And since the consumer demand is getting changed, so it becomes very important for the farmers that they also try to optimize their approach with respect to the selling of their milk products in the market. Fine. So that the competition that is there in the market, they are able to face that, and that is also going to help in maintaining the market stability and growth. Fine. So that is the idea regarding the consumer preferences and the market dynamics, which is an important challenge regarding the dairy cooperatives. The next is the future growth strategy. What could be the future growth strategy? Now, for example, the first point, since I told you that the technology is an important challenge, now the solution can be that we can set up the cyber stores as strategic locations, and we can also develop the customer databases so that we can target the markets in a more efficient manner, and we can eventually boost the skills. Apart from that, another form of technological integration can be related to that we can launch a web-based B2B system, business to business system for the rural cooperatives. That is going to help the simplification of transactions between the dealers and those who are holding the stocks. Fine. So that can be the another solution or the way forward. Second is regarding that we need to focus on the quality and the safety focus. We need to establish a robust cold chain infrastructure so that the milk quality, it can be preserved during the transportation period. Then apart from that, we also need to focus on the brand building and the promotion also, because eventually when there will be a brand identity, then eventually what will happen, it is going to promote this whole dairy sector. Fine. And eventually, imagine if there is a dairy cooperative, and if this dairy cooperative has established as a brand, then don't you think that it will be able to promote the market stability? It will be able to give the competition to the private firms that are there in the market, and eventually going to serve the benefits to the small farmers also. So the brand building and promotion is also a very good concept, a very good idea that shall be promoted. A very good example can be Amul. Fine. Amul, we know it has a brand value, it has a certain type of trust that exists, and people prefer Amul over the other brand. So such type of other brands, the local brands, can also be promoted so that a proper future growth strategy can be designed. The next is regarding boosting the exports. So how the exports can be boosted, which is a very important, I would say, objective of the this white revolution 2.0. The exports can be boosted by enhancing the competitiveness, so by the dairy brands. Apart from that, the farmers need to adopt a business oriented approach. They need to develop the business mindset, so that they can focus on the sustainability and the profitability with respect to the selling of the milk and the milk products. Apart from that, exclusion from the FTAs. Fine. So the free trade agreement that are there, so the advocate for dairy's exclusion from the FTAs, that can be promoted in order to safeguard the domestic producer from the foreign competition. So suppose if there is a country that is signing an FTA, you must have heard about few years back, I think in 2019 to 20, there was a very famous agreement that was there in the news, which is RECP. Fine, RECP agreement. Now this RECP agreement, this promoted free trade agreements between different nations. But what the India did not opt for this RECP. India preferred to stay out of this agreement, to stay out of this free trade agreement. What was the reason? There were multiple reasons attached with it, but one of the important reasons was regarding the dairy cooperatives. Fine, regarding the dairy cooperative, because because of this FTAs, what is going to happen? What was going to happen? It would have increased the competition in the market, because of the big players, for example the Netherlands, for example the Australia, all these different big dominant players who have advanced dairy industry. They could have given more competition to the local dairy industry in our country. So what India should do, India should keep on pushing the exclusion with respect to the free trade agreements regarding the dairy sector. Fine. So this is another point as a part of this future growth strategy. Lastly, the conclusion part. So with targeted government initiatives like NDTP 2.0 and the cooperation among cooperatives initiative, India's dairy sector is set to overcome existing challenges and drive growth. By leveraging the cooperative model, what we can do, we can our dairy sector can transform its potential into reality, positioning the India as a leading exporter of dairy products on the global stage. So some sort of this type of conclusion you can write as a part of your answer, but as I always say, that you should write your own version of conclusion for the sake of practice. Fine. So that is it from my side. This is the question, the answer of which you have to write in the comment section, and it will be evaluated by our team within 48 hours. Fine, that is before Friday 5 p.m. and this is the word limit that is attached with it, 15 marks, 600 words, and that is it. Fine. And these are the EduTap blocks that you can go through in order to enhance your information regarding the different type of competitive exams. You can go to a website and follow these blocks. So that is it from my side, and thank you so much and all the best. Now let me see if there is something in the chat box. Fine. So nothing is there in the chat box. So now I'm ending the session.